Good afternoon, and thank you again for joining us here in Salt Lake City. Please feel free to continue your eating and as we begin this afternoon's program. It's an honor to be here today as we celebrate our conservation leaders, and I'm especially honored to introduce our keynote speaker today with Pheasants Forever and Quail Forever, their president and CEO, Marilyn Vitter. Marilyn became the third CEO of Pheasants and Quail Forever history beginning in 2023, succeeding longtime president and CEO Howard Vincent. She begins 25 years of strategic leadership, business management, volunteer experience to this position. Marilyn formerly served as a member of the organization's board of directors and has had leadership positions at Horizon Therapeutics and Takeda Pharmaceuticals and Oregon Incorporated. Marilyn calls New Richmond, Wisconsin home, where she owns and operates Sharpshooters Kennel. Please join me in welcoming to the stage Marilyn Vitter.
Thank you, Gary, for that warm introduction, and thank all of you. And please do continue your lunch. And my seatmates, please guard my dessert. That was the best looking dessert on the table, and I don't want to miss it. It's an honor to be with all of you, who quite honestly are some of our best partners across the United States. That's probably been the most fun the last 24 hours, is hearing from each of you how important our team is to your teams, and how important our work is together, which speaks volumes about the theme, Be the Change, which perfectly resonates with what we do. Because bees are among the most effective and efficient workers in nature. In fact, 3 of every 4 of your bites at lunch today are a result of their work. And all of you, the members of the PF and QF team, and our landowners that we serve are quite honestly the hardest working humans I know. We keep the global hive alive. Change happens when knowledge ignites action. Our teams deploy the science of our industry on the landscape every day. You see it in better, more productive soil, clean water and air, and certainly in our robust conservation habitat, where the wildlife we care about live. I'm going to read you a couple of things. PF and QF's mission is to conserve pheasants, quail, and other wildlife through habitat improvement, public access, education, and conservation advocacy. NACD's mission, and as Kim told you, your compass, is to promote responsible management and conservation of natural resources on all lands by representing locally led conservation districts and their associations through grassroots advocacy, education, and partnerships. I read you these because our 2 organizations' mission statements share many of the same words. More importantly, in a much larger sense, they share the intent of our work to improve private and public lands so there are abundant resources for all of us and all wild things of all sizes, from bees to bison. We live these missions in many ways, and I'll give you a couple examples. Together, our local districts and our PF and QF chapters and Farm Bill staff host landowner workshops to promote local conservation programs. Together, we boost attendance and impact. Tapping into your farmers' networks and newsletters help our biologists share conservation methods with producers. Your districts work with our seed team to promote customized mixes that are in sync with local practices. Pheasants Forever chapters and Quail Forever chapters provide specialized seed equipment for landowners to plant those native habitat plots. Heck, some of you actually give us room in your offices for our staff to work. And I've heard some stories this week of how you invite them to employee events and to Christmas parties. Those opportunities create open lines of communication. And when it comes to government affairs, it's really hard to point to one example of a successful collaboration. Not because they don't exist, but because when PF and QF have a policy goal or a problem to solve in DC, NACD is always in the room. You see, our organizations share a somewhat unique policy perspective. We work primarily with USDA to help farmers, ranchers, and other private landowners to meet their needs, to do what's right by the resource on their land. Together, we work that conservation stakeholders of all stripes have the federal financial assistance and technical assistance that they need to be successful. That type of collaboration is needed now more than ever. We are thankful that when so much federal policy is uncertain, we have a strong partner in NACD. Joint projects like the one I described today instill a sense of trust with each other, our programs, and our landowners. And you all know that trust goes a long way on the prairie. In fact, in a few minutes, and I hear that this is news to you, so I'm probably spilling the beans here a bit, but in a few minutes, your president, Kim LaFleur, and I are going to be signing an MOU between our two organizations. That MOU recognizes the great work we and you are all doing together. It sets the stage for even more collaboration as we work to help America's farm and ranch communities thrive. Every conservation success story has a charismatic hero. Not a Marvel hero, but a real-life example of struggle and resilience, something that we heard about from our wonderful keynote speaker this morning. In fact, the majestic bald eagle taught Americans about the dangers of DDT and habitat loss. In fact, eagles are probably the nation's greatest conservation success story. In 2021, the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service estimated there are over 71,000 nesting pairs of bald eagles, a meteoric rise from the mere 412 in the 1950s. And I can speak to the testament of that. I've lived in the St. Croix River Valley area between Minnesota and Wisconsin for 28 years, and I can tell you the change in just the number of bald eagles in that area alone. There isn't a day in the summer that I don't see a bald eagle. And what is most striking about that is if you would have asked me as a child on the prairies of North Dakota in the 60s and 70s if I would have thought that was possible, that I would have seen a bald eagle, I would have been astounded. I had never seen one before. There are other stories. The story of the powerful grizzly bear that highlighted the dangers of poorly managed logging, mining, and human interactions. The iconic American bison, on the other hand, has a bit more tragic story. Current populations reveal the impact of grassland fragmentation and migration barriers. The eagle, grizzly bear, and buffalo each created passion that generated action and change by scientists and citizens alike. So today's unlikely conservation hero that I'm going to tell you a little bit about is the humble yet beautiful monarch butterfly. It's as likely to be seen in downtown Chicago or on a Tennessee farm. Their 4-generation migration is a remarkable example of interdependency, with late summer monarchs embarking on an epic 3,000-mile trek to their wintering grounds in the mountains of central Mexico. Millions of kids have been introduced to the monarch, growing caterpillars into chrysalis and then into butterflies in the classroom, learning both about the life cycle and the habitat needs of the monarch butterfly. 100,000 citizen conservationists tag monarchs every year. Last December, the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service proposed listing the monarch butterfly as a threatened species under the Endangered Species Act. Like examples of the eagle and grizzly bear, monarchs have experienced dramatic drops in their populations. Eastern monarch populations have declined by 80%, and Western monarchs by nearly 95%. Steep declines in milkweed, their essential host plant, as well as the loss of breeding, migratory, and overwintering habitat, as well as all food sources, are linked to that population fall-off. As we all know, one thing is not the root cause. It is all these things in concert. But what does that have to do with you and me and the organizations that we work for? Because in parallel with the monarchs, grassland birds have declined by 53%, including our beloved pheasants, quail, and prairie grouse populations, and some of them by a much larger decline than 53. We are losing 2.6 million acres of grassland every year. To put that in perspective, the North American grassland is the single most threatened and imperiled biome on this planet. Not surprisingly, a key portion of the eastern monarch population's U.S. range mirrors the Great Plains pheasant and quail range. Times are indeed hard for the monarch, and they are hard for pheasants and quail too. Because of their habitat, monarch butterflies, pheasants, and quail are inextricably linked to each other and our organization's missions. Missions that create high-quality habitat for grassland birds and other wildlife while helping sustain the monarch butterfly. The PF and QF team have planted more than 1.3 billion milkweed seeds in the last decade. They've impacted nearly 393,000 acres of high-quality pollinator habitat, and still their populations decline. The weight of a paperclip, the tiny but mighty monarch butterfly, probably doesn't incite the impassioned response that Americans feel when they think and watch a buffalo, a grizzly bear, or their symbolic bald eagle. Yet I would contend that the delicate monarch butterfly is justly North America's canary in the coal mine, the true definition of the term, a harbinger of the dangers of grassland loss that impact every American, from rural farms to small towns to suburbs to our largest cities. When the public believes that their food comes from a grocery store and clean air comes from a smokestack scrubber, it's hard for people to understand why they need to help protect rural America and its grasslands. It's up to all of us to build those connections. Because monarchs can be found all across the country, everyone we know has their own monarch experience. Now is our chance to incite them to think of those memories and call attention to the plight of the monarch. We can show America how the loss of America's grasslands directly and consequentially impact all of us. What kid or kid at heart hasn't thrilled at the grace of a monarch butterfly on a delicate summer breeze? How many families do you know have helped their kids raise a monarch from egg to caterpillar to chrysalis and then release that magnificent creature? In fact, every summer I add to my pollinator garden, hoping to see not only bees, but monarchs. And on those days that I do, it's a celebration. And what I find most remarkable about that is that they were all around me as a kid. They were so prolific that I didn't even notice them. And now I notice them because they're rare. Think about your own experiences with monarchs. Think how many you saw last year. I bet it's probably pretty few. Pheasants Forever and Quail Forever see the monarch's plight as a call to action. It's an opportunity to engage new audiences in conservation and see it through a different lens. Connecting non-landowners and non-hunting public to our work will create more habitat for our game birds, for monarchs, and other pollinators, grassland songbirds, and all the things that live in these vast, beautiful expanses. Families in Philadelphia, Little Rock, Oklahoma City, Chicago, Seattle, Salt Lake City will see the tie of upland conservation to monarchs. The actions to traditional conservation community has taken for the monarch truly has not been enough. That's why we are facing the ES proposal that is here before us. It reflects hard times for monarchs, and more broadly, it shines a light on America's vanishing prairies. The monarch got listed because we didn't act as a community after the 2020 decision to list it as warranted. We needed to spend those 4 years actively working with landowners to plant diverse habitats, create monarch corridors in road ditches and under power lines, plant diverse pollinator plots on public lands, and push legislators to create the tools and funding to do all that work. But it's fruitless to brood over opportunities lost. Now is the time to look forward. Our conservation districts and organizations like PF, QF, and so many others are uniquely positioned to support rural America, its ag producers, and its small town economies as we work to reverse the trends of grassland lost. And we are doing just that. In Michigan, a Pheasants Forever chapter partnered with DNR to spearhead grassland restoration projects on state-owned land through the Adopt a Game Area program. A recent project was contracted through the local conservation district, who supplied the labor and equipment to make sure the job got done. Something our chapter could have never done alone. Each one of these fantastic projects looks different. In Oregon, the Yamhill County SWCD, Pheasants Forever, NRCS, and the Pacific Birds Joint Venture have partnered to hire a biologist who is a PF employee, but gets their direction every day from the local conservation district. This partnership supports grassland habitat on private lands in the Willamette Valley. And to show you how all things come full circle, that coincidentally, in 1881 is where Owen Denny established America's first successful ringneck pheasant population. Today, that work supports the western populations of monarch butterflies that frequent 5 of Oregon's largest cities. So whether it's a full section, a quarter section, an irrigation pivot corner, small meadow, playground, corporate campus, or patch of ground in a backyard, perhaps even yours, everyone can play a role with the monarch. It's a crucial time to connect, engage people more with conservation. And Kim so beautifully reminded us this morning that time is our most precious and productive resource. So let's not waste it. Pheasants Forever and Quail Forever will continue to advocate for voluntary, incentive-based, grassland-focused programs for landowners, farmers, ranchers, hunters, and non-hunters alike as the #1 strategy for recovering a monarch population and America's prairies. Habitat that is good for pheasants, quail, and monarch butterflies is also good, as you well know, for soil and water quality, the sustainable future of our food chain, and for producers' bottom lines. I thank you for not being quitters, for leaving your camping gear at home, and for being climbers. And we thank you for being a continued partner to support America's farm and ranch communities, the same ones that protect the pheasant, quail, and grouse populations that we hold dear, and yes, even the humble monarch butterfly, who's getting ready for its epic journey back to our hometowns. Thank you, and enjoy the rest of your lunch.
Thank you, Marilyn, for being here today. Now to affirm our partnership and accelerate the voluntary incentive-based conservation on private lands, NACD and Pheasants Forever and Quail Forever will now sign a memorandum of understanding to collaborate on outreach, advocacy, education, leadership, and professional development. This also includes the opportunity for conservation districts to promote and support wildlife habitat by serving as points of sale for the Pheasants Forever and Quail Forever seed mixes and earn revenue in the process. Scan the QR code on this slide and learn more about regional, state, and specialty seed mixes available, and watch for future information on how conservation districts can be involved. I'd like to now invite NACD President Kim LaFleur to the stage. Marilyn and Kim, will you please take a seat at the table on the stage to each sign a copy of the MOU and to pose for a photograph. Thank you, Marilyn, for being here today, and thank you for being a partner with conservation districts and for sharing the great conservation work Pheasants Forever and Quail Forever has and continues to accomplish. We look forward to our collaborated work ahead. Next, I'll waste no more time in welcoming to the stage NACD Secretary-Treasurer Mark Masters to begin our leadership recognition portion of the program. Thank you.
Thank you, Gary. Good afternoon. For those of you that may not know me, I'm Mark Masters, and I have the honor to serve as your Secretary-Treasurer. I live and farm with my wife and family in Southwest Georgia, where we operate a beef cow farm. I'm also a supervisor for the Lower Chattahoochee Soil and Water Conservation District. I'm the past president of the Georgia Association of Conservation Districts and a proud graduate, and happy to be seated at the table with fellow NGLI cohort members. The hard work of NACD's members to conserve our nation's natural resources is what brings us all together this afternoon. The theme of our meeting this year is Be the Change, Reaching New Summits in Conservation. And it's my honor to acknowledge the change makers that have gone above and beyond to reach new summits in conservation. NACD is proud to have such an active and dedicated membership across the country, and it's our goal to shine a national spotlight on all the work you all do at a local level. For NACD, our mission in serving our members is in numerous ways. We advocate for conservation on Capitol Hill and with national partners. We provide educational materials like the curriculum for our annual Stewardship Week. We seek out and develop funding opportunities and resources for districts. We certainly keep our members up to date with the latest information through free publications. We host a number of learning opportunities for district staff. We share district success stories and opportunities. And we share job training opportunities as well. NACD builds and maintains relationships with lawmakers and federal partners to ensure conservation districts and voluntary, locally led conservation are at the forefront of thought in agriculture and environmental policy decisions. Through the years, we continue to demonstrate to those in public office just how vital conservation districts are to the natural resource conservation. Member support is the driving force of NACD. Our members allow us to continue the important work we do. It is what allows this organization to best represent all of you across the country. We consider all conservation districts members of NACD. And for those that can support us through membership dues, we offer 3 levels of membership, as you can see on the screen. I encourage those of you who can level up or increase your contribution to take advantage of those higher benefits. In addition to these benefits, membership qualifies you for many of the awards that we're now about to announce. Every dollar contributed supports districts through our work with legislators, federal agencies, our national publications, and our education and outreach materials. With your support, we are helping to get more funding in the hands of conservation districts. It's my honor to recognize and commend those states and territories who make NACD membership a top priority. I'd like to invite NACD President Kim LaFleur on stage to help me present these awards. First, we'd like to announce the states and territories that have achieved 100% district participation in NACD membership payments in fiscal year 2024. Now, we define 100% participation in 2 ways. 100% of the districts in the state or territory contribute dues to NACD at any level, or 100% of a state or territory's membership dollars have been contributed regardless of the number of districts that paid. As I read the names, would a representative of each state or territory please come forward to receive their award? First is Alabama. Connecticut. Delaware. Georgia. Hawaii. Kentucky. Marilyn. Nebraska. Rhode Island. Virginia. And West Virginia. Let's give all these states one more round of applause. Next, we will present the awards for the top 10 contributing states or territories that made the largest financial contribution to NACD in fiscal year 2024. Again, would a representative from each state please come forward to receive their award? In 10th place, contributing $32,207 is Kansas. In 9th place, contributing $32,454 is Washington. In 8th place, with $36,100 is Virginia. Seventh place, $36,940, Iowa. And in sixth place, contributing $38,580 is Kentucky. In fifth place with $44,395, Indiana. In fourth place with $45,838, Ohio. In third place with $46,033, North Carolina. And in second place, $47,145, Minnesota. And making the largest contribution to NACD with $52,700 is Alabama. Let's give all these states one more round of applause. NACD is foremost a member-based grassroots organization, and we deeply appreciate the support from not only these states and territories, but all our member states, territories, associations, and local districts. Next, I would like to welcome Franklin Williams, District and Partner Relations Committee Chair and NACD Southeast Region Executive Board Member, to the stage.
Thank you, Mark, and good afternoon, everyone. As chair of NACD's District and Partner Relations Committee, we got fans. It has been wonderful to witness how conservation districts and state territory associations lead conservation efforts in their communities. On behalf of NACD's District and Partner Relations Committee, I would like to honor those individuals who support locally led conservation efforts through the Friends of NACD program. Through one-time, annual, and lifetime donations, Friends of NACD directly support the work of conservation districts across the country. I encourage you to look around on the lapels of your peers this week for those wearing the blue Conservation C pin that identifies our Friends supporters. If you would like to become a friend of NACD, I encourage you to visit the registration desk or donate on NACD's website. We would also like to give a special thank you to our lifetime friends of NACD who have made a continuous commitment to supporting conservation districts through this program. These supporters can be identified by their handcrafted silver and turquoise lapel pin. Will the lifetime friends that are here today please stand and let's give them a round of applause. Thank you for all that you do for NACD. Each year, a portion of the funds raised through the Friends of NACD program are allocated for grants for conservation districts. Through the competitive Friends of NACD District Grants program, donations support grants of up to $2,500 each for eligible member conservation districts. Since its inception in 2020, the Friends of NACD District Grants program has awarded over $96,000 in grant funding to 39 districts around the country. Thanks to the generous donations of our Friends of NACD, this year we are able to award 8 new grants. It is my honor to announce the 2025 Friends of NACD's District Grant Program awardees. And I apologize if I do not pronounce your district correctly. Gwinnett Soil and Water Conservation District of Georgia. Vermilion County Soil and Water Conservation District of Indiana. Warren County Conservation District of Kentucky, Cass and Berrien County Conservation District of Michigan, Cuyahoga Soil and Water Conservation District of Ohio, Kay County Conservation District of Oklahoma, North Caddo Conservation District of Oklahoma, and McKean County Conservation District of Pennsylvania. So with these grants, these conservation districts will implement creative initiatives to support their customers and deliver locally led conservation. Their projects will address water health, native plants, stream bank stabilization, and environmental education. Please join me in congratulating all of our grant recipients. And thank you again to our friends of NACD who make this program possible with their financial support. No matter the level of your donation, you are helping conservation districts. Next, NACD and the DPR committee would like to recognize those in our NACD Hall of Distinction. Since its launch in 2016, the inductees have been recognized as leaders in the conservation community. They have contributed so much to conservation at the local, state, and national levels. If there are any members of the NACD Hall of Distinction present, I invite you to please stand. Let's give all of these conservation leaders a round of applause. And now we're excited to announce this year's inductees. First, Kevin Jeffries of Kentucky. Please join me and welcome Kevin to the stage. Our other NACD Hall of Distinction inductees today are Robert and Mary Gabb of South Dakota. Mary was going to be here, but I think was unable to make it. So to accept the award, please welcome Trevor Williams to the stage to accept on her behalf. Congratulations on your induction into NACD's Hall of Distinction, and thank you for your many contributions to conservation. We encourage every state and territory to please select a leader to induct into this honorary group. States and territories may induct one person into the NACD Hall of Distinction each year. Details on how to submit a nomination can be found online. Thank you for helping us to honor the achievements of all these extraordinary conservation districts, state and territory associations, and conservation leaders we have recognized today. Join me in giving them one more round of applause. And now I would like to invite NACD President Kim LaFleur back to the stage to present this year's pack of book donations. Kim.
There we go. Thank you, Frank. And congratulations again to all of the extraordinary conservation districts and leaders that we have recognized so far. As many of you know, NACD's education efforts are at the forefront of our mission as an organization and this year marks the 16th annual Pack-a-Book Drive. Due to the generosity of meeting attendees like you, we've been able to donate over 1,300 conservation and natural resource themed books to local elementary schools throughout the years. This year's Pack-a-Book donations will go to the Utah Schools for the Deaf and the Blind. The books you donate will be distributed through their Education Resource Center library to campuses statewide. Accepting on behalf of the Utah Schools for the Deaf and the Blind, it is my honor to present this year's Pack-a-Book donations to Christy Davis of the Utah Association of Conservation Districts.
Yes, on behalf of the Utah Schools for the Deaf and Blind, we have 3 here in Utah that will be receiving these books, and they're very excited and for the unique opportunity to receive books just for their students that they'll be able to use there. So they wanted me to thank you on their behalf.
Again, thank you to everyone who donated a book. If you still haven't yet, you can drop off your packed books at the NACD booth in the Conservation Showcase or find out how to mail a book directly to the district. Next, I'd like to welcome Brent Van Dyke, Chair of the National Conservation Foundation. The foundation is NACD's sister organization and supports our conservation education efforts globally. Welcome, Brent.
Thank you, Kim. I'm sorry I missed my place here. There we go. I'm excited to share with you a vision of the National Conservation Foundation. Over the last year, we've accomplished a great deal. The NCF's 2 flagship programs, the NCF Envirothon Contest and the NCF Next Generation Leadership Institute, both programs aim to teach and develop future conservation leaders, and neither would be possible without the support of donors, volunteers, partners, and last but not least, conservation districts. The NCF Envirothon is an annual academic international competition which aims to educate students about the environment, about conservation, and about natural resources through hands-on outdoor experiences, academic study, and collaborative competitions. Each year, an estimated 25,000 students participate in annual Envirothon contest programs, academic competitions that focus on areas of soil and land, water use, aquatic ecology, forestry, wildlife, and those current environmental issues close to home. Host in partnership with the New York State Envirothon, the 2024 NCF Envirothon Annual Competition was held this past July at the Hobart William Smith College in Geneva, New York. Close to 500 people attended the event, including over 240 students and 100 volunteers representing 49 teams from across the United States, Canada, China, and Singapore. These students competed for top prizes and awards. Please look towards the screens to watch the video recap of the Envirothon 2024.
Envirothon is a academic competition for students interested in the environmental sciences, and it tests kids' knowledge on soils, wildlife, forestry, aquatics, and current events in environment. I just saw the value immediately, thought it was just a really unique program.
It's outside and it's hands-on, and these students get to actually touch and manipulate the material that we've been teaching them in the classroom, all in a competitive spirit where they can get awards for doing well. There's a huge incentive because of sponsorship that allows the students to really get something out of it that's tangible, like a scholarship for college or recognition from the state.
While this is a competition, we kind of know as like individual teams that when we're competing, we're not competing against each other, we're competing for a better environment and for like a better future.
So the importance of a program like the Envirothon that teaches us on how we impact the environment and the world around us, those natural areas. Again, we have one earth that we're living on and everyone's sharing it, and we want to keep and maintain those resources for future generations.
Education is the best key that you can give to someone, so skills with presenting or problem solving. Teamwork is a huge part when they do their final presentation. So these are skills that they can use when they continue on in their life.
Smithfield has partnered with Envirothon and NCF for years, in large part because it fosters education and passion for environmental impact and study of environmental impact, which is important for high school students, I think, to get that kind of education.
Those kids are the future, for our world. So it's so important that we support that.
I can't imagine being here without the constant hours that volunteers have to put in and sponsors to try and fund our competitions, and without all of your guys' help, this wouldn't even be possible.
The opportunity for students to travel and see other places, I think, is hugely important in their development. Envirothon allows for that with the NCF level competition, and then meeting and interacting is huge for development of our young people as they grow and mature, and that's going to help also prepare them for their future lives and careers.
People I've met at the international competitions, at the provincial competitions, are enough of a reason to join. But Envirothon encompasses so many different fields in the natural resource area. So if you're interested in any of those things or anything connected to the natural resource area, I highly recommend the Envirothon program.
The students at the Envirothon put in so much effort. Each team is a hardworking group of students. The top 3 performing teams at the 2024 NCF Envirothon were: in 3rd place, the Marilyn Envirothon team from Hartford County, Maryland. In 2nd place, the New York Envirothon team from Ephesus, New York. And finally, the Tennessee Envirothon team from Nashville, Tennessee was the champion of the 2024 competition. Congratulations to all these teams and students. These top 3 teams were awarded $30,000 in scholarships thanks to Smithfield Foods Incorporated. Smithfield is the largest corporate sponsor of the NCF Envirothon annual competition. In addition to the scholarships, each year Smithfield employees donate their time and effort as well as their expertise in helping with the Envirothon, serving as volunteers at competitions across the United States. Thank you, Smithfield Foods, for your continued support. NCF and other amazing supporters awards close to $10,000 in scholarships for the 4th through 10th place teams. In total, over $50,000 was awarded in scholarship funds to the winning teams. Thanks to a donation from Canon USA, a $10,000 scholarship fund was distributed to awards for the 2024 winners of the Station Awards at that national competition. In recognition for their outstanding achievement, this is the first time NCF was able to give scholarship funds to NCF Envirothon station winners, thanks to the generosity of Canon USA. Please join me in giving thanks to all the 2024 NCF Envirothon New York competition supporters. I'd also like to thank and recognize the NRCS for their ongoing partnership for NCF in their support of Envirothon. In addition to supporting the NCF Envirothon, NRCS field staff are crucial support for the many local Envirothon programs and competitions. They routinely lead hands-on training sessions for teams or use their wealth of knowledge and skills to develop educational resources and challenging test questions each year. And finally, on behalf of NCF, I would like to especially thank NACD and the nearly 3,000 conservation districts from across the United States who support Envirothon on every single level. District staff are often the first natural resource professionals that these students will meet. Your efforts to train teams and coordinate local competitions is invaluable to the students and to NCF. You're greatly appreciated. I want you to give yourselves a round of applause. Thank you, district. Over the next few months, NCF is looking forward to seeing hundreds, if not thousands of students who will participate in local Envirothon competitions. This year's NCF partner program across the U.S., Canada, China, and Singapore will be organizing, conducting close to 300 Envirothon events this spring. As Envirothon teams prepare for their local competitions, I encourage you all to find out when and where those local Envirothon events will be held and volunteer. You will witness firsthand how Envirothon challenges, inspires, and empowers our next generation. Your time, support, and knowledge of natural resources will undoubtedly help them become the conservation leaders of tomorrow and succeed in their Envirothon journey. The top teams from the 54 states, provincial, and partner nations Envirothon programs will join us this summer for the 2025 NCF Envirothon Annual Competition from July 20th to 26th in Calgary, Alberta. Hosting partnership with the Alberta Envirothon Association, the 2025 competition will put a spotlight on the topic of roots and resiliency, fostering forest stewardship in a canopy of change. Students will learn how climate models can help predict the impacts of changing climate on forests and how it can be used to facilitate conservation. Teams will work together to create innovative solutions to complex problems facing the forest and the environment. Now, the other flagship program of the National Conservation Foundation that I want to recognize is the Next Generation Leadership Institute, or NGLI. This program was launched in 2019 to equip local conservation district leaders with the tools and the skills to become national leaders. Through personal, civic, and organizational leadership development, NGLI prepares its cohorts to face the challenges of a changing world. These graduates of the 2024 cohorts have solidified their place as conservation leaders in the nation. As the fourth cohort of the program, they have completed over 80 hours of instruction, a full day of legislative visits, and a capstone project designed to apply their skills learned back in their home districts. Through their backgrounds or widespread diverse, this group came together to face the challenges of curriculum head on. The growth that they have each individually achieved in the past year is largely due to the trust and confidence in each other and their conviction to conservation. It's always a worthwhile effort. The rise of these individuals of leadership in leadership positions began immediately upon acceptance of the program. As their responsibilities piled on, they dedicated more to the program to further their own growth. They each made personal sacrifices to give their all to this experience. I know that this level of dedication will continue to launch them in positions of leadership, both in their district, their state, and our nation. The future of conservation needs leaders who know how to deal with change and uncertainty. These graduates are ready to rise to that challenge. On behalf of NCF, I am honored to announce the graduation of the fourth cohorts of the Next Generation Leadership Institute. Upon hearing their names, each graduate is invited to come up to the podium and say a few words. Kelly Bowen of the Cass County Conservation District in North Dakota. And I'm giving each one of them their graduation pin.
Thank you. I have so much appreciated this opportunity. I have had the honor to get to go through this process with four gentlemen who are amazing people to represent their areas. So one of the best parts about NGLI is that it's such a diverse group. Everyone's from a different area of the country. And Glenn and I get to compare temperatures. It's -2 in North Dakota and 80-something in Guam. It's great for me. So it has been a wonderful opportunity, and getting to know everyone and just getting to go through this process and really make some of the best friends. I just appreciate NCF having the vision to have this program available, and I look forward to seeing how the evolution of the program is and people who go through it in the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Kelly. Next is Kirk Daniel of the Tipton County Soil Conservation District in Tennessee.
I didn't think I was going to get emotional here, but anyway, yeah, I'm so blessed to be a part of this program. I look at my new friends and group, and I made myself a few notes. It's been a great year. I mean, we've been all over the place. First of all, I want to thank the NCF Foundation and Aubrey and Keith and taking their time out of their busy schedules, and I know it's kind of their job, but anyway, if you're around them a while, you understand they wear many hats. Keith said he'd give me $20 if I'd promote the auction tonight, so anyway, I'm gonna get that in, but anyway, Yeah, I've been really fortunate. You know, I thought I was going to kind of just be the new guy in town or whatever, and I ended up being the old timer or whatever. I came to my first annual meeting in 2010, and it was almost a never get there thing. And my flight got canceled because it got snowed out, and then I ended up driving down, and I didn't know anybody, and everybody was so welcoming. And anyway, I think I've been to 13 since. So anyway, we ended up kind of being the one that knew kind of what was going on around here. But anyway, and then I figured out that the group I was with had just so many talents and different perspectives that they could bring to the table, and so it's been really rewarding. So I'll get off the stage and let somebody else talk. But thank y'all so much.
Thank you, Kurt. Next, Excel Lafayette Jr. of Creek County Conservation District in Oklahoma.
Hello, everyone. Hello. I was just making sure nobody fell asleep during the lunch. I just want to take an opportunity just to thank the foundation, NCF Foundation, and the NGLI team, as well as NACD, for this opportunity. So Kirk was saying he's the old kid on the block. I'm really the new kid on the block, because this is a new environment for me in terms of conservation, agriculture, and different things like that. So this is probably my third life, my third career. But this has been an amazing opportunity for me to see a little bit deeper in how we live and what really drives our food sources, and learning more about soils and networking with other great people. This is my second meeting. San Diego was my first meeting, and I was totally lost. In this year's process with Aubrey and Keith has guided us through this process to help us to really understand the impact that an individual can make on his community, in his environment, and also the state and the world. So I just want to take an opportunity just to thank everyone for what they do in their own communities, even though it may go unnoticed, because we hear the term NACD is a world's best kept secret. We've heard that, and I probably didn't say that right, but we have to do a better job of letting people know the impact that we have on the lives of people and why we're here. Because we can't live without doing the things that you guys in this audience do. So I'm going to continue to do my best to get the word out to our members, our producers in all the areas within Creek County, not only Creek County, but in Oklahoma. And one last thing, I know I got to go. Phil Campbell in Oklahoma has led the way in this NGLI platform. Donnie Stevens was last year out of Oklahoma. And we just want to, those guys' leadership and having the opportunity to meet Shelton Hightower in what he's doing in this environment, in this space, God, has been a blessing to me as an individual. But again, just thank you, thank you, thank you.
And next, we have Glenn Taghi from the Southern Guam Soil and Water Conservation District in Guam.
Well, Hafaday and good afternoon, everyone. Thank you. I prepared a script up here, and I've realized, you know what, I think I'm going to be up here for about 30 minutes if I follow it. So, you know, there's definitely, because I'm filled with gratitude, and, there's just so much to celebrate in this moment, and I'm just very thankful, especially to God above that's made this all possible. NCF, as Brent shared and talked about how that whole program is put together, and NACD, this family that made this opportunity possible for me. I have this whole list, but I'm gonna try to keep it short. To my mentors, my biggest one, actually Mike Uggan. Most of you know him. He's our executive board for the Pacific region. He's also the chair to our Southern Soil District, and but back home, he's Uncle Mike. Yeah, they learned that on the boat as we went fishing at the Boston summer meeting when we were out fishing, and they were like, "Oh, that's Uncle Mike," so they all were going to be calling him Uncle Mike from now on, I guess. But he's pushed me to do this for years. First meeting was in 2021 at the Chicago meeting, and he's been pushing me to do this for years. So I guess now I could say, we did it. We did it together. Definitely to the NGLI cohorts, the previous ones, they've been a big guidance, and they've done it through direction and definitely with fun. So thank you guys for making it easier for our cohort to make it through this year. Our instructors, definitely Keith. Keith didn't pay me to say these things. Maybe last night, I'm not sure. With the other cohort, the new one, he was popping out 20s, I guess, for the different comments. But I'll say this, we got to start with Aubrey, and so we were blessed to have two, and we completed with Keith. But Keith took care of us literally like this cohort, like it was like his family. He made me feel like this was his only mission to get done. And we all know, for him being the director of education here, he's got so many other things to do. But it didn't feel like that. It felt like we were his only mission to take care of. So thank you to Keith, everyone behind the scenes. Thank you for your guidance, encouragement, and your unwavering support. Our northern and southern districts put together from Guam, definitely my support all the way through. But specifically, I did want to share that I want to give thanks to the southern district. They were very instrumental in this whole year to help me to achieve this moment. But I do want to specifically say thank you to our district administrator, Erica Pangilinan. She was very instrumental in my capstone project, and I intend to get that done. The plan was really the project, but we intend to get that plan into fruition when we get back home to Guam. So thank you. Also, I did want to say a huge thank you to our Pacific Region Chair, Terry Rigsby. She was the one that actually sent me the application and said, you can do this, and I was not confident, but I guess now I could say it's a different story today, so thank you. Fellow graduates, thank you. It's been fun. It's been a journey. I did want to say thank you to them as well, because I live, as Kelly said, right, we compare temperatures, we also compare time. You guys know us from Guam, we're on the other side of the world, and they really made adjustments for me. They accommodated for me so I could join these online trainings, meetings, and things of such. So congratulations, and thank you, my cohort. Definitely a diverse, passionate group, very gifted, and I learned a lot from them. So we'll stay connected through our WhatsApp chat group, kind of like one of the things that I tried to introduce. But although we're across the world, we're still close as neighbors and stay connected like we're together in the same place. Love you guys. Most importantly, to my family back home in Guam, I do have two daughters, two granddaughters, and they weren't able to join me. I actually have a little fan base over here in the back. So I got three aunts that joined me, my mother and father-in-law, and I'm just thankful that they were able to be here to celebrate with me. And thank you, NACD, for allowing that. So, but however, the glue that holds it all together, I'd like to thank my wife, Marcella, and I got to bring her this year so that I could, introduce you guys to her, because I've come for so many years and I don't get to bring her. And it's kind of hard when you live on the other side of the world, but every trip I go to, she holds it all together back in Guam. So this accomplishment this accomplishes me just as much as it is hers as it is mine. So thank you so much, honey. I love you. And thank you. I think I'm past my 90 seconds, but guys, as I move forward, I'm going to carry the lessons that I've learned here, knowing that leadership is not about a title, but it's about making that impact. And I definitely intend to make that impact everywhere I go, back home in Guam or whether I'm here. And I got my road team, NACD, NCF, and the whole family, the cohort that I have. I think in my heart, I'm thinking that, I have faith to be able to get things accomplished, whatever's in the way, even when we can't see it, as Eric in his presentation said earlier. Even when you can't see it, he just says, suck it up, right? And so thank you. I do want to say that no matter what's in the way, I think if we have the family that we have here all together, we can accomplish anything. As Scripture says, right? Now faith is being sure of what we hope for and certain of what we do not see. I don't know what's ahead, but I'm certain we can do it together and make this place a better place to live. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate you.
Thank you, Glenn. And last but not least, Vincent Thompson of the Hardin County Conservation District in Kentucky.
I'm gonna put my timer on. So I was trying to think of something that would be a little bit unique to say up here. I knew there'd be a bunch of thank yous, a few tears, a lot of shared stories. And I went on the aquarium visit and went on the Utah exhibit. And then I sat back in the corner there, and there was a steady din going on in the background. And I saw a honeycomb. And I said, well, be the change, the beehive state. So the foundation built a beehive. The executive team nurtured and fed the beehive. And if you've been out in one of these lobbies, you've heard the steady din of everybody talking at the same time, just like a bunch of bumblebees flying around. I spoke with several of you, many that I haven't, and I hope to speak with you soon. But each one of the people that I spoke with, they brought little pieces of pollen and little pieces of nectar into the beehive. So you all made honeycomb. But honey doesn't put itself in the jar. So that's up to you all. Where do we fit? Where are we going to put our honey that you all have made? My gratitude to you. Thank y'all for having us. Look at that. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Thank you.
Thank you, Vincent. Somebody's pen.
Hey, I got a pen.
Got a pen. Last but not least, we all are inspired by your commitment to leadership and your individual ambitions throughout your experience. On behalf of NCF and NACD, I want to say thank you, and we look forward to your contributions. Thank you.
Congratulations, Brent, and congratulations to all of our Envirothon students and our NGLI graduates. I have a great faith in the future of conservation. It's going to be great in the hands of leaders like these. Before you go, I want to remind you we have more breakout sessions throughout the afternoon starting at 2:30. Those are in rooms across the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th floors. So look at your session options, including the event app Sketch, as well as the printed program to find your breakout sessions this afternoon. So, Keith, I want my $20 because tonight I want to see all you back at 6 o'clock for our NCF live auction, happy hour, and the auction will be supporting the young people like we've recognized today, our Envirothon, as well as our NGLI cohorts. We've heard a great thing today. 7 o'clock, we'll be gaveling down to begin that auction. So be ready to bid. See you all then. Have a great afternoon.